So I'm just checking in. Here's a little bit. So if you notice anything, you notice it's even more filled up with stuff in here than the last time I showed you. So today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, and I'm giving you the date because everything is changing so quickly. It's hard to keep up with what's happening out in the world. And I wanted to do just a short update video because if you're like me, the way I feel right now is like a rat in a maze. Every time I head down a path, it's like I keep bumping my head. I have a really bad headache and I'm not getting anywhere. Things are changing and moving so quickly, it's being very difficult to make a decision. Do I save money? Do I buy stuff? Do I pick up and move? Right? It's just all over the place. So I just wanted to take a moment to check in with you. I just wanted to take a moment to go over where my thinking is going, where for right now this channel will be focusing on, because if you caught my last video and the title, it said focus is everything. So with that, we're going to take a big old deep breath and I will see you on the other side. All right, it's been a while. I'm just checking in. Came to check to see if my roof vents were still here. Crazy wind last night. We're going to go below and I will see you on the other side. 1, 2, I just wanted to give a quick heads up. If you're new to my channel, there's a lot of information about who I am and why I'm talking about this stuff below in the description here at YouTube, or you can go over to my website at 18crossroad.net. And I'm going to do a couple things. So the quick update about where I'm at is, like you, I've been thrashing around trying to figure out what decisions to make. And I made a last-ditch effort to run to Home Depot in Albuquerque and buy supplies to try to get that front trailer fixed up enough so that I could get out of here before things locked down, and that isn't going to happen. I wasn't able to get everything that I needed. I wasn't ready to buy what I needed, and so for the foreseeable future, we are here. But as you saw, from the panorama, there could be no safer place from a cootie situation than not being within another human being for about a square mile, except if they decide to infect you from the sky. And there's so many things happening out there. And, I've been trying to figure out where I want to go with this, because I've said before, I don't want to contribute to the fear and to the flames of the fire that's building up underneath us. But I also believe that this is the precursor for the future that I've been unclear about which version I am entering. And so I wanted to say right up off the bat, I don't have any ability to predict the future. I think it will be different for each of us. But in 2017, I made a video at the end of the year as we moved into 2018 that the next 10 years would be the critical years. And then things kind of were okay. 2018, 2019, tiny bumps, but life felt kind of normal. And I made the single mistake that I have learned over and over and over in my time in super survival mode out here in the dirt, is that the minute I drop my vigilance and I relax into a situation where I just assume everything will be okay if I'm not paying attention, it always comes and bites me in the rear end. Coming from, if I don't get my water, the power goes out or everything freezes down. If I don't get food, if I don't get gas, it's been on and on. I've learned this lesson over and over and over. And just one more version of that, I've allowed myself to relax the last year, especially thinking, okay, things look like they're pretty good, and we might just have some bumps in 2020 that will be getting us to the election, but things are okay. It doesn't look like we're going down that really scary road that I've talked on and off about for years. And The conclusion that I'm coming to right now is that while everybody's going to have a very different experience, those of us who are over 50 and are either in a nomadic situation or will be forced into one are going to be having a very different kind of experience than maybe everybody else. And so I talked about, talking about human, I've talked about older women. All of that is still relevant, and from here forward for the foreseeable future, unless things pan out, I'm not even going to be talking about the immediate crisis that we're under right now, because I think everybody's kind of holding their breath to see what's going to happen. So you feel safe to exhale and things go back to normal. I don't personally believe things are ever going to go back to normal. That's what I was trying to say in my last video, is that this is the new norm. This is the test. And the future for the next 8 to 10 years is going to be really wild, uncertain, and unstable. What I have to offer is have lived that future for a long time now. If there was something that I was going to be prepared for in my life, with my background in crisis and social work and trauma and uncertainty, with living an uncertain future, with my rear end hanging off the edge for so long, never knowing how I'm going to get from 1 month to the next, much less 1 year to the next, this is my world. I've been talking to you a long time, and you guys in many ways have looked at me and said, oh, bummer for me, right? I'm living in a situation that you wouldn't wish on anybody. Well, newsflash, my situation is going to start to become a lot of people's situation, and my perspective, I believe, will have value, and this is where I'm underlining this, is for people who want to be leaders and not followers. People who want to be purposeful, functional, and take action, and not just observers. And when I say leadership, I don't mean in a great big famous way. I mean with yourself, with your family, with your neighbors, with your community, choosing to take the leadership role. And one of the things I know that's true for me, and that's true for just normal human being, is that nobody can be strong forever. Nobody can maintain perfect calm and strength in every single storm. All of us get down, all of us have bad days, all of us get afraid, all of us get question, I keep trying to do things. I keep hitting my head against the wall. What is the lesson in it that I'm missing? And sometimes I think that lesson is just the personal experience, so that I can share with you how to not let it get the best of you. Because what happens is that when we lose our focus, we get reactionary and we panic, and that's what sends us over the cliff when we follow the herd. If we can't maintain our focus and our emotional stability in times of calm, there's no way you're going to keep it together in times of crisis. And I don't think the crisis will be over for 8 to 10 years. I'm also going to say this, which is not going to be something most people want to hear. I don't think most people over 50 will be alive in 8 to 10 years. I think this is the transitional shift that I've known about for a very long time, that I kind of put on hold, and I thought, well, maybe that version of the future I wasn't going into. I believe it's something that we agreed to have happen and experience in this world. I don't see it as something to be afraid of. At a big picture level, I see it as a natural progression of humanity and civilization. And you've heard me say this on and off. I think the most powerful thing that we as over 50 people can bring into this world is our wisdom and our skills, so that the very young, the under 30, the under 20, can survive that catastrophe so many of you already know about. I've talked about what the sun might be doing at any time in the future here. I don't think those of us who are older are going to experience that. I do think the lessons that we teach those who are young will make the difference if they do. Now, is any of this true? I have no idea, right? We're all in our own personal matrix. We're all having our own personal experience. And It's hard to know what's real and what's not real. What I absolutely and 100% know is that if you are in constant reaction to what's happening externally, you will not do well. This will be stressful. Stress breaks your immune system down. And if it's not this wave, it's going to be the next or the next or the next. This, I believe, is our future that's unfolding in front of us, the one that many of us have been listening, reading, talking, thinking about, that we don't really want to have happen. And as we breathe and exhale, nobody knows what we're exhaling into, but what I believe is that we will never be exhaling into the past and things going back to the way that things were before. There will be people whose lives are completely unchanged. There will be pockets in the world that will be completely unchanged. I'm not speaking to you because that's not going to be my experience. I am, like so many people, just barely subsisting on the fringe. And people like me and like you, who are either there or will be there, have a very different future ahead of us. And I'm not saying I don't get afraid. I'm just saying that I've had a lot of experience with this. And so I really want to focus with you on how to navigate through these next 8 to 10 years. So I'm not talking about just what's happening now. I'm talking about what's going to be happening in the foreseeable future. For those of us who are over 50, for those of us who are currently homeless, nomadic, or will be, and I'm dividing that to where whether you're in a park and stay mode or you're in a drive or walk away mode. I've talked about walking away for a long time because that's the last bastion, is when you can only walk away with what you can carry. To me, that was always the scariest scenario. So that's the one I always thought about and planned on. But the reality is we're moving into a situation where social distancing is becoming the norm, and strangers won't be welcome. People aren't going to invite you into their community if they don't know you. And people are really going to not want you if you're older because they feel like you don't have anything to contribute, you're not physically strong, you're going to be a drain on resources. What if you get sick? There's a lot of stuff that's just very real that we're looking at in our future. So I don't want to be scary, which is very scary, but I also want to be very practical. And I'm going to do my best to stop trying to explain why and just focus on the what is happening and how we navigate this as human. I believe the solution lies within our humanity. Our bodies are wired and designed to survive under stress, to survive in illness, and to survive any scenario out in the world until we're not. It's nothing to be afraid of, but it is very much something to start paying attention to if you want to be a leader in your own life, with your family, and with your community. So I can't tell you everything's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be. I think we are in for a wild ride on this survival road that I like to talk about. And my goal is to really focus on the blessings, the beauty, and I like to say a little bit of badass, because there's so many men and masculine energy out there just bombarding the airwaves with fear and trying to control the information and to write their own narrative to make their belief system comfortable. We are being flooded with the masculine energy of trying to manage information that nobody knows, understands, or can see the future for. The feminine response is much more stepping back and getting practical. The feminine response is often what's going on at home, what's going on with our health, what's going on in our relationships, what's going on in our community. And I'm not saying I'm talking to men, or women, I'm talking to men and women as humans. That if we don't find that balance between our masculine and our feminine, so we're not information addicts, we're not obsessing about ideas and information and using all our energy into focusing on things we don't understand and we can't control, we'll have nothing left to do the practical stuff regarding our health, our home, our relationships, our community. And when push comes to shove, and at the end of the day, if crisis doesn't make clear what's most important and valuable to you, this is not the place for you. I talked about that in the last video. When everything goes really bad, clarity settles in, and I'm hoping that this is an opportunity for you to really say, okay, what am I clear about that I want to focus on for the next 8 to 10 years? Because this period of time has been talked about for thousands and thousands of years. We are entering into it. It doesn't mean it will be happening for you. I know it's happening for me. So I'm going to try to stay focused on that. And then tomorrow, you know, if everything's okay, we'll go with that. But the key to all of this is agility and self and systems of living. It's to adjust, to adapt, and to accept. We can't control what's going on out there. All we can do is decide how we want to manage everything and how we can hold on to our focus so we don't get swept away by fear and panic of the crowd. If that's something that you're interested in, I'm going to try to do it in a way that's not like boom and doom, but very practical, because the reality is this is happening. I don't want to be stuck here any more than you probably want to be experiencing what you're experiencing, but we are here. This is happening now, and all we can do is take a deep breath, and hopefully I will see you next time. Links below.